Who is Zacchaeus in your own life? Who is Zacchaeus in your own life? We know one thing about Zacchaeus, and he was a tax collector. But I'm not asking you to think about who's collecting taxes in your life, but rather, who is someone that we need to be merciful toward? Who is someone that we need to show mercy? This gospel passage follows the passage that we heard last weekend. And if you recall, last weekend the gospel was about this very pious and righteous Pharisee who praised his own worthiness and his prayer in the temple. And then there was another person who said, "Have mercy on me, Lord, a sinner." So we know that certainly this passage is also about the mercy of God, but it may not be crystal clear in the first proclamation of this gospel. The gospel passage certainly is about God's action toward us as Jesus reached out to the person of Zacchaeus. It's probably difficult for us to imagine the hatred that existed toward tax collectors in Jesus' day, even more so than probably we dislike paying taxes ourselves today. But one of the reasons that they were so disdained in the culture of Jesus is that they were one of them. So what would happen, because the Roman Empire was occupying the area of Jerusalem, that the Romans would hire a local person like Zacchaeus to collect taxes because he knew the people. He knew where they lived. He recognized their faces. So you can imagine that this person who is a tax collector is very much like a traitor. Very much like a traitor living among the people, because he was hired by the Romans to exact the tax that was demanded of the Roman Empire. So Zacchaeus was not liked at all. He was Jewish, and he was collecting taxes for the Romans. And part of the way that the Romans entice people to be tax collectors and to bear the burden of the hatred of the people was that they got to keep a percentage of the tax that was collected. And Jesus recognized this in Zacchaeus. Now, it wasn't that Jesus lacked any cultural graces. He certainly understood that it would be a little unusual to invite himself over to someone's house like Zacchaeus. We certainly would think it's odd if someone said, I'm coming over to dinner tonight at your house. And, you would think like, well, why? And why would I let you come over? But the image here is that Jesus first reaches out to Zacchaeus. It wasn't that Zacchaeus had to do anything then to show up. Zacchaeus did not have to come down the tree and present himself to Jesus and kneel down and say, I am unworthy of your love and forgiveness. But rather what Jesus did was that he first reached out to Zacchaeus, absolutely knowing that Zacchaeus needed love and mercy. So when I pose the question, who in your life is Zacchaeus to you? Maybe now someone is coming to mind. Who in your life needs love, mercy, and forgiveness? And perhaps they've not even asked you for it. We know even when someone approaches us and they've done something terrible to hurt us, that sometimes it's difficult to forgive, even when they ask and say that they are sorry. So imagine Zacchaeus' surprise when Jesus actually approaches him. Zacchaeus, come down quickly, Jesus says, for today I must stay at your house. Today salvation has come to this house because this man too is a descendant of Abraham, that Zacchaeus was Jewish and needed Jesus' love and forgiveness. For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save what is lost. And the mission of Jesus, the mission of the Son of Man, is also our mission, that we need to seek and to save what is lost. I think certainly one of the gifts that our new Holy Father, Pope Francis, has is that he has a wonderful ability to reach out to those who are lost. I've been blessed a few times to go to Rome and to have, these general papal audiences, which is, probably like 20,000 people in the audience hall. And the people who get to see the Pope, and I was only there when Benedict was the Pope, but whoever got to see the Pope really were important people, dignitaries. They had special seats, and then after the general audience, then they were escorted up to see the Holy Father. And one of the things that the handlers don't like about the new Pope is that he's unpredictable, that he reaches out to a man in a wheelchair who can't approach him, or kisses a baby, or goes to a prison and then washes the feet of a woman who is Muslim, imprisoned in jail. He has this wonderful ability to be like Jesus, reaching out before they even ask and showing God's love and mercy. Jesus is showing us another example of how important it is to be people who reach out in love and forgiveness. And we know certainly that actions oftentimes speak more loudly than words. And this particular Pope has had a profound impact on young and old alike who really appreciate the really central message of the gospel of love and mercy and forgiveness. And how are we to be like that? How are we ourselves reaching out to those who are lost, who need salvation? In Matthew's, Kelly's book, which we passed out a few months ago, The 4 Signs of a Dynamic Catholic, in his observation and research, he says that the 4 dynamics is prayer, study, generosity, and evangelization. And he would claim that if we pray and we study as Catholic Christians, then our generosity, another way of saying it, our stewardship, and our willing to talk about our faith, evangelize, grows. That's what he claims in his book, and I do believe it is true. So how is it that we come here looking and seeking what is lost? Are we willing to take that step in our own lives? Who is the Zacchaeus in your own life? And are we willing to love and serve them by offering the mercy and forgiveness of Jesus Christ?